Guys, welcome into a little Chicago Bears mock draft simulator for 2023. The team with the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to be doing 3 different 4-round mock drafts for the Bears, going from most realistic to least realistic. All 4 of them are going to include trades, but the first one I am not going to be trading for any real-life NFL players. So what I'm going to be doing is moving back from number 1 to a certain spot, and then in my second mock draft, I'm going to be trying to acquire Davante Adams, and then in my third mock draft, I'm going to be trying to acquire DeAndre Hopkins and really see how I can make this work with the Bears. I think it's so important they get Justin Fields, a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. I'm also looking for an elite tight end, possibly, with what we've seen from Travis Kelce and George Kittle in the playoffs and stuff like that. And then also the Bears do need an elite offensive tackle, along with maybe a linebacker as well as a pass rusher. So the Bears, we're going to see what we can do with the number 1 overall pick. This is the most realistic one, and I will be trading back using the simulator. We're going to look at our offers and see. Sometimes it does this. I might have to redo this because realistically, this is why this is so dumb. Realistically, you would think Indianapolis would be interested in trading up. Vegas would be interested in trading up. Even Houston from the 2 spot, it makes no sense. But with Carolina, if I'm going from 1 to 9, I'm going to need both their first rounders for the next 2 years, probably both their second rounders, and also we'll do something like that. So I think this actually probably would be fair. I'm moving from 1 to 9, which I'm fine with. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this. All right, so I actually had to redo it and see if we get more offers from these teams. It just makes no sense. Arizona, now see, why would Arizona trade up to 1? They've got a franchise quarterback. Okay, here we go. We can go back to number 4, but I am more interested in going back to number 7 because, well, you know what? What does Indianapolis have? They've got 435. See, guys, what I want to do with this draft pick, I want to get another first rounder, right? That's really this year I'm talking, because I want the Bears to get an elite offensive tackle and possibly Jackson Smith-Njigba, both in the first round, or Jordan Addison. So, you know what? What we might do is trade back to 7. We want 38. We also want your first rounder. We want your first rounder. Yeah, we would do this. We also want 70. Can we get 70 on the back end as well? And there we go. So, you know what? This is a lot for Vegas to be giving up. They get the number 1 overall pick. We get 738.70, their first rounder in 2024, their first rounder in 2025. We're just going to stay at number 7 and pick an offensive tackle. And there goes Paris Johnson Jr. My goodness. So I was going to get Paris Johnson Jr., but I will certainly settle. Now, normally what you would do is you would probably trade back a little bit to like number 13, but we're keeping it realistic. Teams don't trade back multiple times. We understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to draft the offensive tackle from Northwestern to get Justin Fields some serious help. Peter Saransky, who you could argue is the number 1 tackle in this class. I think it's probably Paris Johnson Jr. by a nose, but it's very close. Let's get Justin Fields some help. And guys, remember, we have 2 future first-round picks from Vegas that we can utilize to move back up and draft either Jordan Addison or JSN, and that's really what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do one of these. We're going to go ahead and pause it at number 12. Do we wait a little bit more? Maybe we wait a few more picks here. We're going to go ahead there, and they're still both available, so we're going to trade with the Commanders. Now, the Commanders, we want number 16. You know what we're going to give you? We're going to give you Vegas's first. We're going to give you a second, and that's good enough for us to move back up to 16. And they're not interested. They're greedy. Okay, there we go. We're moving back up now. And we have the 16th pick. So, Michael Mayer is tempting, but I'm going to hold off on it. I'm going to go JSN here because this is the one where I'm not trading for DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not trading for Davante Adams. Let's get Justin Fields, a legitimate number one. JSN is going to be fine. The hamstring issue is a minor thing that just requires time to get over, and he should be good. So we have pick 38. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let it play out. So we'll get JSN. We'll let it play out. And I did take JSN over Jordan Addison because I think Darnell Mooney and Jordan Addison are very similar. And this is exactly how I wanted this mock to play out. I love Dalton Kincaid. I think he's going to be a first rounder. I think he's a George Kittle clone. And I understand they already have a tight end, Cole Kmet. This kid's way better. So you look at some of the other available players. Drew Sanders would probably be the guy if you're going for a defensive player. We already got a good offensive tackle, Saransky. Give me Kincaid. We got JSN. Now we're really investing into Justin Fields. And we can utilize these last 3 top 70 picks on defensive players. That's the goal there. So we will go ahead and draft him. I'm not going to trade up. There's really no need to. We will utilize these picks. Ooh, I like the center. The center from Minnesota. But we might have to go with an edge rusher here. I like Zach Harrison. So Zach Harrison's a really interesting pass rusher that was better, way better than the stats said he was. He's really good with pressures. I might go ahead and get Zach Harrison right here. If not, I like the center from Minnesota, but we do need to get an edge defender, and we also need a linebacker, but there's really no linebackers right now, so I'm going to go ahead and draft Harrison, and we do also have the 64th pick. If I can get the center at 64, and he goes 2 picks before me. Yeah, hate to see that. Maybe I get a linebacker. I love Tomlinson, who won the Thorpe Award. The problem is he's really short. He's like 5'9", unfortunately. I like Cedric Tillman too. Foskey, another edge rusher. There's some interesting options. Jones, the offensive tackle from Ohio State, but I already got one. I would like an interior offensive lineman here, but I don't see one. So overall, we might take this. I might just decide to trade down with this pick. No, we'll go Tomlinson. Even though he's short, I really like him. And then with my my last top 100 pick, I would just probably go best player available. Jordan Battle's an interesting safety. Tillman, a bigger receiver, I would say. Foskey. Jalen Jones, the cornerback. There's Clark Phillips. Man, did he fall. Oh, I love Andrew Voorhees, and I love Brandon Joseph. We'll go with Voorhees to get them some more interior help. And then I would like to draft Brandon Joseph. Even though he's a safety, it's best player available. Oh, my goodness. Clark Phillips is still here? Brandon Joseph went 1 pick before me. That's great. But, guys, realistically, let me just tell you what the Bears should do. The Bears, they do need a running back really bad because I would not give David Montgomery a new contract. There's no reason to. I'm just going to draft Chase Brown. I would probably wait to draft him, but I do like Chase Brown a lot. If I am the Chicago Bears and I'm replacing David Montgomery, Chase Brown reminds me a little bit of Christian McCaffrey, the way he moves. I really like Chase Brown. And then this is the actual mock draft, and they do grade trades, which doesn't really, I understand it, but you're basically always going to get an A for I guess I got a D plus here. But, I got the 16th overall pick. I gave up a first, second, and fifth rounder. I don't really care. I need to get Justin Fields help. If I'm not going to be trading for an elite wide receiver, now I've got JSN, I've got Mooney, and I've got a bigger receiver in Claypool, and now I've also got an elite tight end in Kincaid, and I also have help along the offensive line with an elite top-tier tackle, an interesting pass rusher, a really good cornerback. The only problem is his height. They gave me an F for this pick. They don't like Voorhees. He was one of the preseason AP All-Americans. I don't know what they're talking about. And then Chase Brown, yeah, I reached on that because I wanted to show that they do need a running back, and I like Chase Brown or Kenny McIntosh. If I was the Bears, I would target Chase Brown or Kenny McIntosh. But guys, that is the safe little one right there. Now we're going to go to another one where I actually trade for DeAndre Hopkins or I trade for Davante Adams. So let's see which one this is going to be. It's just going to depend on if Vegas is interested in trading with me or not. And they are. So watch this. Listen, this is if Vegas goes and says, we want to fully rebuild. You know, we're going to rebuild our entire roster. Davante Adams, I think you're at least getting 2, maybe 3 prime years with Justin Fields, which is so important for Justin Fields' development. And that is really what we're going to do there. So we will go ahead and trade. We're going to trade the number 1 overall pick. We're getting back 7. I also want 38. I also want your first round. Well, they're not going to do that. I also want your first rounder. I want 70. I want your second rounder, actually. Let's see if we can do that. All right, so we're trading the number 1 overall pick. We're getting back 738, 2024 first rounder and second rounder, and Davante Adams. So the receiver position is taken care of. We have Davante Adams, Mooney, and Chase Claypool, right? So knowing that, now we can go with Paris Johnson Jr. or whichever offensive tackle is available at number 7. Which will probably be Paris Johnson Jr. We also have 38. Do I try and I'm trying to think. Is there an edge rusher that I would be interested in later in the first round? Well, maybe Nolan Smith. Maybe Nolan Smith, you could say. Torrance. I'm just wondering if I should trade back up into the first round and draft someone. But I don't really see the value in it, honestly. Yeah, I don't really see much of a value in doing that. I do love Brian Branch. Dude, I wonder is Brian Branch really a need for a team like Chicago? I think Brian Branch is going to be a beast, but I also like Breesy. I do, but he's ranked really high. So obviously I'm taking Paris Johnson Jr. We might do a blind. No, this is a realistic one. We're not going to do a blind trade up. I was going to say maybe we do a blind trade up, but I'll just pick at 38 and I'll try and get Kincaid. If he's not available. Well, they keep sniping me. Yeah, I mean, it's 1 pick. Are you kidding me? But we will go ahead and take Drew Sanders here, who is actually a former 5-star transfer from Alabama to Arkansas. Interesting story with him. They do need a linebacker. Let's just make sure, looking at everyone, there's Ringo. Forbes is a really interesting cornerback. I wonder how tall he is. Jack Campbell, kind of not very athletic, but Jack Campbell fits the mold of that Brian Urlacher type, game, manager on the field. Zach Charbonnet, he's ranked really high, but I like Zach Charbonnet. I would be interested if you let David Montgomery go. The only concern with Zach Charbonnet, there's a lack of pass-catching ability with him. Gibbs would be another guy I would be interested in. I don't think I have to trade back up. We're going to go Sanders here. We're going to go defense. We've gotten an offensive tackle. We've gotten an elite receiver. We're going to have to go Gibbs here. We're going to go Gibbs. We're replacing David Montgomery. There's no need to spend money on David Montgomery. And then what we're going to do, we've got Zach Harrison. We've got this edge rusher from USC. We're going to go with him over Zach Harrison. Now, honestly, I could trade back up, but I'm not going to because I want this to be realistic. I'm not going to make all these picks, honestly, guys. I'm probably just going to trade all these picks. It's only supposed to be a 4-rounder, but I will make this pick. So, just looking at the available players, KJ Henry, Byron Young. Yeah, we'll go Byron Young. They need a run stuffer. Listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade all my picks because this was only supposed to be a 4-round mock. And wow, Chase Brown is such a steal. McBride is an interesting player. Also, Deuce Vaughn. You know what? Is Deuce Vaughn available? Xavier Hutchinson, but that's kind of repetitive. I like Xavier Hutchinson a lot. Duncan, the offensive tackle from Maryland, is really raw. Jared is someone that's interesting. Deuce Vaughn, I love. I would draft Deuce Vaughn in the 4th round. I don't care. I seriously would. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trade all of our picks. Just give me like a 3rd rounder and I'll trade my entire draft. It's going to be accepted. Can I get a 2nd rounder? Oh wait, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to trade all of my picks for a third rounder. All right, we'll do that. I'm just getting rid of my picks because there's no sense in me making them. All right, here is the final grade on this second scenario, if it will come up. And there it is. So you can see I got the superstar Davante Adams. I also got them a first rounder in 2024 and a second rounder. So the Bears are loaded up. You've got Davante Adams, you've got Mooney, you've got Chase Claypool. Now you've got an elite offensive tackle, Paris Johnson Jr. You get a solid linebacker. You get Gibbs to replace David Montgomery. You get an edge rusher from USC. They graded that an A. And then I do really like Deuce Vaughn. Byron Young, kind of a big interior defensive lineman. So that is the second scenario. And then the third scenario is going to be me trading for, it's just going to be 4 rounds. Let's make sure we do that. It's just going to be me trading for DeAndre Hopkins, which I'm guessing I'll only have to give up a second rounder for him because he does not have the best contract. But the Bears have money. That's the thing. So we're obviously going to trade back probably with Detroit. Ooh, if I can get 6 and 18 for 1. Wow. Can I get a first round? Oh my goodness. This is larceny. This is theft. Can I get 48 instead? This is theft. Well, they're not going to do that. We'll just take a second rounder then. Wow. So we get 6, 18, a first and a second from Detroit for 1. And if I'm going to be trading for DeAndre Hopkins, because the thing is, I have 6, 18, 54. Wow, Will Levis is available. I would trade down again, but it's just not realistic. So I will go ahead and pick an offensive tackle here. Because if I'm trading for DeAndre Hopkins, I'm going to have to give up 54 and probably 64 as well. Or maybe, I don't know what DeAndre Hopkins is worth, but we're going to go ahead and draft Paris Johnson Jr., and then we're going to be in an interesting spot with pick number 18. Michael Mayer is available. Wow. Bijan Robinson. Yes. He's a superstar. I got to go Bijan. People say it's not good value. I mean, Bijan Robinson is a superstar. I'm sorry. But now we get our number 1 receiver. Now is when we get our number 1 receiver. Oh, you know what? This might not actually work. This is why it's so dumb. Wait, what if we just went to, where are they? Arizona. So from Arizona, I want DeAndre Hopkins. And I'll give you the 54. Oh, wow, it will be. Can I give you 64? Can I give you 103? Wow, I could trade 103 for DeAndre Hopkins straight up because he has a bad contract. It's because of his contract. You know what? We'll give you 149 as a sweetener. And there we go. So we got our number 1 receiver. Now we could actually get another receiver, or we could draft maybe Jack Campbell, but I'm concerned about Jack Campbell and really his athleticism. Zach Harrison is available, 54 and 64. We'll take, did we take an offensive tackle? I think we did. Darnell Washington is a beast. He's a great blocker, but who did we take? Okay. So maybe I go Washington here. Is there any other tight ends available? I do like Laporta. Washington is a unique player, but it's like, is Washington really going to help Justin Fields? Is he an elite pass catcher? You know what? We'll try it. We'll just go with him. I don't really care. And then we will take, we will go with best player available, position of need. Man, Carl Brooks, a pass rusher from Bowling Green is ranked that high. We'll go with White, a pass rusher. It's a position of need. And then we will let this go to the end of the 4th round and see the final scenario. So, guys, overall, when it comes to the Bears, it's very obvious. You need to get Justin Fields, a legit superstar, to pair with Darnell Mooney. And then get him an offensive tackle. So you can see, I mean, this is just a great grade there. You're getting Paris Johnson Jr. You're getting Bijan Robinson. Just let David Montgomery go at this point. You know, Darnell Washington, I'm a little concerned about his pass catching ability Wow, they gave that pass rusher from Georgia Tech a grade of an A, and then I am getting DeAndre Hopkins. So this is a completely new look offense. The defense would have to be invested into through free agency. The Bears have a lot of money to where I would get a solid linebacker if I'm Chicago in free agency. I would probably also get a good cornerback and then maybe a veteran edge rusher. Other than that, on offense, you've got Paris Johnson Jr., who should be an elite offensive tackle. You've already got Justin Fields. You've got Bijan Robinson, as a superstar running back. Darnell Washington to pair with Cole Kmet. And then you also do add DeAndre Hopkins now as your number one receiver. And I did also get them an additional first-round pick in 2024 and a second-round pick via the Detroit Lions, which would probably be a mid-first round pick. I think the Lions should be good next year, but I don't think they'll be 12 wins or anything like that. So it should be like the 18th overall pick or something. So those are just a few scenarios for the Chicago Bears. My overall vibe I'm getting: get a good offensive tackle, get a number one receiver, and get, later into the draft, a hybrid pass rusher and a good linebacker, along with a running back to possibly replace David Montgomery, because there's no sense in paying and allocating a lot in terms of your salary cap to David Montgomery at this point, especially if you're trading for a bad contract like DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is a bad contract, but it's a necessary bad contract when you're trying to develop your young superstar QB, Justin Fields. So guys, that is the official breakdown on the Chicago Bears for the 2023 mock draft. We do expect them to trade down from number one. Maybe they fall in love with Will Anderson. He is a can't-miss prospect, but you still want to get more assets. You want to get more first-rounders. You want to get more chances to give Justin Fields help along the offensive side of the football. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.